What's up, dude?
You wouldn't build a house without a foundation, so why try to build a business without one? Grow your contracting business and grow your mind with Growth Mindset Monday.
All right, here we are, another beautiful Monday. It's funny. I actually had somebody get mad at me this last weekend. They're like, "Why do you get so happy about Mondays?" I'm like, "Because it's a new week, right? It's a beautiful Monday." Although I say beautiful and it's cold and who knows, it's at least snowing on the mountains. It might snow here again. That's why I got my my little 3/4 zip hoodie with the Bill Pro logo here. Up and at them. So if you guys haven't entered already, if you look in the comments, you'll see you can enter to win today's gift card giveaway. You know the drill. For those of you who've been here before, drop your name, your business name, and where you're from, and we will give you the good old shout out. So Monday, right? Some of you woke up this morning and you're just like, I have no idea where I'm at. I have no idea what time it is. I have no idea what's happening today. And I don't want to get out of bed, which happens. Trust me, it happens more often than we care to admit. I'll tell you about my Monday. My Monday was, let's see, alarm went off at 4, which is when I normally get up. I rolled over, hit the turn off alarm, and went back to bed till 6:30. Now, for me, that's sleeping in. I do have an excuse, though. On Saturday, I ran a marathon. And for those of you who have run a marathon, I'm actually curious if you have ran a marathon, go ahead and drop it in the comments. I'm curious if anyone here has, but I ran a marathon and I'm going to share the story of the marathon here in a minute. But before we do, we want to give a shout out to those of you who have commented. Daniel, all right, first man up today. I like it. Daniel Kappen with Noble Custom Glass and Mirror, mobile office in Georgia again. Welcome to the show. We got Michael Babbitt, BMF Services, Charlevoix, Michigan. Welcome. Rodney Butts with R&R Lawn Service. It's go time now, baby. That grass is growing everywhere. We got William Ferris with Will Northeast Service Mechanical, Northeast Oklahoma. We got Philip Summers with 360 Air. Welcome. Rachel with 81 Lawn Care. That's a lot of LLC, DBA, NSP, IOU, bunch of other things. But we're just going to go with lawn care. Let's see. We've got Joshua Harding with the Handy Harding LLC, Finger Lakes region, New York. Sean White with White's Brush Management and Excavation. William Bo Flanders, Bo Jiffy HVAC, Birmingham, Alabama. And then we've got 81 Lawn Care, Inwood, West Virginia. Hopefully I'm not missing anyone. Welcome all y'all to the show. Now, the weekend, right? For some of you, you had a really great weekend. You spent it with family. You've spent it with friends. Maybe you got a little work done. Who knows? Clean out the garage, maybe. Took care of the honey-do list. For me, I ran a marathon. Now, I will tell you this. I've run 13 marathons before. So running a marathon is not anything new to me. I know that at some point, the pain's going to come. The pain in the legs, the pain in the chest, the mind that says, I want to quit. Like, I know this because I've run 13 of these. But I will tell you that for some reason, and I don't know why, for some reason, this one kicked me square in the balls. Like, Mile 4, my left hamstring cramped up. Mile 6, my right hamstring cramped up. And the rest of the race was a combination of walking and running because I could only go about a quarter mile before my arms and my shoulders started to cramp up. This is not for lack of training. It wasn't for lack of hydration. Literally, it's just the wheels came off. I've been training for 4 months, 4 solid months, running 3 to 4 times a week, a total of, we started at probably 20 miles in the week, ended at like 35 total miles for the week. So I've been getting the mileage in, I've been getting the distance in, right? Like I feel good, or I should say I felt good about everything. And so my brother-in-law and my buddy from the gym, we all rolled up to the starting line and high five, fist bump. We were there with thousands of other people. Gun goes off and off we go, right? And if you've ever run a race before, man, it's all kinds of exciting at the beginning. There's a reason why they have a ton of porta potties right at the beginning and then mile 1 and mile 2. It's because you still got all those jitters and you got to get rid of them, right? So we start rolling and I'm feeling pretty good about things, right? Feeling pretty good. And then that first hill hit, which happened to be, oddly enough, within the first half mile, first hill hit. And I'm like, okay, well, that's unexpected, but here we go. And so the first half was a lot of ups and downs, but I'll show you here how the elevation map looked for this race. And it completely destroyed me. Like there's very few times in my life that I felt like, okay, this is not going to work out in my favor. And this was one of those times. So if you could see the screen here, you can see the elevation map for the race, right? Looks kind of like a heartbeat, a whole lot up, a whole lot of down. Now looking at this, you would be like, oh, well, it looks like a downhill race. No, it wasn't. We actually gained almost 500 feet of elevation over the total race, right? Here's in a little more detail so you can see it. This is what it was. So it was quite an interesting race. Again, full transparency. My fastest marathon, and this is when I was training, I had a coach, very specific training program. My fastest marathon is 3 hours and 12 minutes, which isn't bad. It was about a 7-minute, I think 25 second per mile split, right? So every mile for 26 miles is 7 minutes and 25 seconds. This race, remember 3 hours, 12 minutes. This race was 4 hours and 46 minutes. My goal was under 4 because I haven't been training more than these last 4 months, under 4. So I was 46 minutes slower than I expected to be. 46 minutes. My poor wife, who was on the course, thank goodness I didn't tell her to come right away. She came about halfway through. I actually saw her at mile, I think 17 or 18. And she looked at me and she's like, are you okay? And I was like, nope, not at all. And literally, it was just the worst of all things. Now, I share this with you, and I'll relate it here in a minute, but I share this with you to understand that, like, I love David Goggins, right? I love Andy Frisella. I love those motivational, inspirational guys. The guys are like, embrace the pain, right? Who's going to carry the boats? You don't know me, son, right? And all those one-liners that we love to hear, right? All about motivation and inspiration. You got this. You can do this. Go one more, right? And I was in the middle of this in my mind, cursing everyone and everything. I was like, I have no idea. This is the dumbest thing ever. Why am I still running? Like, I can't feel my arms. I can't feel my legs. I can't stretch out my legs because they keep cramping and getting passed by everyone. That's at least what it felt like, right? Getting passed by everyone. And I remember crossing the finish line and thinking, thank the good Lord, this thing is over, right? 4 hours and 46 minutes later. Now, you probably can't tell, but I did get a tan because I was out there almost 5 hours. But it was, again, one of the worst experiences I've ever had in my life. Now, why am I sharing this with you? Well, I'm going to tell you here in a second. Daniel already jumped ahead. He said, how does that affect your mindset during the race and afterwards? I'll share it with you. We got a couple more folks. Good afternoon, Simon Stucco Services, West Palm Beach, Florida. Welcome. And then Tyler Worthington with California Smart Homes. Welcome to the show. So here's how it affected me. Like, it completely derailed me. I can tell you through my training runs, there was a couple times that I walked, a couple times that I got stuck by stoplights because I live in a city. But for the most part, just plugged away, right? Plugged away at a pace that was pretty consistent. And that's exactly what I expected to do during this race. I expected it to go the way I needed it to go. I had my water bottle with my electrolytes and whatnot. I had, some ibuprofen because my legs always get, a little bit of pain. I had everything that I needed. I'd hydrated before, right? Everything. And yet, even with the prior proper planning, even with knowing what I would need going into this race, it completely fell apart. Now, I will also tell you this. I finished. Like, there's nothing pretty. There's nothing sexy about it. There's nothing like, wow, my face is going to be on the cover of Time magazine. It's not like there's nothing about the race that you would be like, wow, that was amazing. Nothing. I finished. And then I got tacos afterwards. But I finished, right? And the entire Saturday, all I was thinking about was my frustration with the fact that, yes, I finished, but it didn't happen the way that I wanted it to. It didn't. Now, what does this have to do with you, right? What does this have to do with you being a contractor? What does this have to do with you and where it is that you are in your business right now? Well, this is what I'll tell you. I'll tell you that it has everything to do with where it is that you are in business right now. You see, because just like that race, rarely does it ever turn out exactly the way that we want it to. Rarely, right? Every project that you've ever been on, there's either a missing part or there's a delay or there's client changes or there's issues with your guys. It happens, right? And yet, just like me, we get all pissed off and frustrated because it happens, but it doesn't happen the way that we want it to. And the unfortunate thing about that is that we don't plan for things to go not the way that we want them to, right? We plan for them to go exactly the way that we want them to. And when they don't, what do? Exactly what I did, which was at mile 15, I literally threw my water bottle away. It was a cheap one, but I threw my water bottle away and it was still had electrolytes. I just threw it out, right? Mile 17, thank goodness there was this, this guy that had an ice cream machine in his driveway and he was handing out samples or the sample size of like Dole Whip. Why would I eat Dole Whip in the middle of the marathon? I don't know, but I took one, right? I was like, ooh, cold ice cream. It was horrible, but I tried it, right? Mile 21, somebody was handing out gummy bears, mouthful of gummy bears. Like the plan just went out the freaking window. And my only intention at that point was to finish. That's it. Finish, right? So think about this. Contractors, trade business owners, it doesn't matter what you do in the construction space. You're juggling timelines, you're juggling budget, you're juggling your crews and your team on a daily basis, right? You're going to deal with the weather. You're going to deal with issues with the equipment that you have. You're going to deal with subcontractors that don't show up. And so the question is, what is it that you can do knowing ahead of time, right? This is the crazy part. Knowing ahead of time that things are going to go sideways. Now, why do I share this with you? Because everything in that race for me went sideways. Everything, right? Hydration went sideways. Cramping went sideways. Mindset went sideways. Everything went sideways. And yet I still knew at the bottom back of my mind, I knew that I could finish the race. Why? Because I'd done it before. I knew I could finish. I wasn't sure exactly how I was going to finish. Maybe crawling at some point, but I knew I was going to finish. And so this is the same application that each of you need to have in your business, right? There's a couple of solutions that I want to give you that will help you deal with the inevitability or the high likelihood that things are going to go sideways. Some of you may or may not like Mike Tyson. I would not call him the most intelligent individual in the world. However, he's got some pretty good one-liners. And one of those was everybody has a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Everybody has a plan. Now, if any of you guys have ever fought before, well, that's a true one too, right? And I had a plan for the race until the race started and everything went out the window. Because at some point, your grit, your determination, and your willingness to just continue through is what's going to get you through, right? It's just the way it is. And so you can bitch and you can moan and you can complain about the things not going the way you want them to, or you can just pull your pants up, right? Cinch up your belt, lace up your boots, and just get to work. Now, what are these solutions that you can implement? Here's the first one. How pressured, I guess I should start with a question. How pressured do you feel when it comes to a timeline? Whether you work with a GC or you work with a homeowner or you work with someone else, how pressured do you feel to be on somebody else's timeline? Odds are pretty good, right? Everybody has an emergency, right? The air quotes, the emergency. How quickly can you get out there? The problem with the emergency is everybody has an emergency. And if everybody has an emergency, what does that make your life? A constant emergency, right? So plan for the inevitability that you're not going to be able to finish all the jobs that you have on time, period. Yes, still have it as a goal and a target. Yes, still do everything under your power to make it happen. But just understand that sometimes it's just not going to happen that way. So how do we deal with it? Well, the first thing you got to do is you got to build a flexible contingency plan. That's a lot of fancy words for basically create a buffer, right? Weather delays, material delays, crew delays, 10 to 15%. If you think a job's going to take you 3 hours, plan for 4, right? And just tell the homeowner 4 hours. If you think a project's going to take you a week, tell them a week and a half, right? Give yourself some extra time. They will know it ahead of time, i.e. the expectation. You will know it as well. And then you have that give. Not only that, it also gives you the opportunity to finish ahead of time, right? And how happy are people when you finish ahead of time? There's a remodel that I work with, and one of the things that he does is he calculates out his project timeline, how long he thinks it's going to take him to finish a project, kitchen and bathroom models, right? And so he builds out his timeline, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, whatever it is, and he always adds 20%, right? And he tells the homeowner, we anticipate to be done by this date. Now, he does everything in his power to finish before that date. Why? Because now all of a sudden he set the expectation, let's call it 3 weeks. He finishes in 2.5. How happy is that client, right? Now, see what happened there. We know things are going to go sideways and we plan for things to go sideways, but the homeowner from their perspective just knows, hey, here's the timeline. But because we built in that contingency, what does that allow us to do? It allows us to exceed expectations. Okay. Next thing. And this is where a lot of contractors suck. And if I'm talking about you, maybe you should pay attention to this. Communication, right? Communication. There is nothing worse than working on a project, okay, and then leaving that project because you had an emergency somewhere else or something came up or whatever, you're waiting for a part and not communicating that with the project owner, whether that's a homeowner, GC, whatever. Nothing worse. And so they're left high and dry waiting and wondering what's going on, right? And then they're blowing up your phone because you're not what? You're not communicating. Now, do things happen? Yes, things happen, right? But your ability to communicate the things that happen is what will set you apart. People are understandable. They are. Listen, on the commercial projects that we work on, we do this exact thing, right? I talk to the project manager ahead of time. Hey, this is where I'm anticipating this getting done. If we get to the job site and it's not ready for us yet, or materials aren't there yet, or there's a delay with the sub or whatever, the first thing I do is communicate with that project manager or that project owner. That's the first thing I do. Why? Because whether he's pissed off or not, he can't say that I didn't communicate, right? But based off my communication, what can he do? He can plan for that. Here's a perfect example, right? I recently got my desktop redone. This beautiful 3.5 by 6 foot solid wood top, right? It's amazing. I love it. I've wanted this thing for a while. Well, I paid the sub to get this done 8 weeks ago. Guess when he finally got it done? Last week. Guess who was angry because the sub wasn't communicating? This guy. And I'm a contractor, right? And I tell this guy, listen, I understand if there's delays, you're stuck on a job, or, the wrong top came in, or the top hasn't come in yet, whatever the thing is. But your ability to communicate that is what allows me to be realistic with what's going to happen or what's not going to happen. Okay. So in other words, you're going to experience delays, issues, problems with subs, with materials, with whatever. But your ability to communicate is going to help you overcome that issue. And here's the third and the most important part. You have to be willing to just suck it up and get it done. I actually have a question. I'm gonna go through this one, but I have a question for you guys. I'd love for you to chat or comment in the comments. What's the number one reason you believe your projects get off track? The number one reason you believe that your projects get off track. Think about that. Things go sideways all the time, but why do your projects get off track? Maybe it's something you control, maybe it's something you don't, but drop it in the comments. I'd love to hear the number one reason you believe your projects get off track. So the solution, as we're talking about that, the solution is you have to learn from every project, right? So what did I learn from this last race? The thing that I learned about this, about myself and about preparing from this last race is I didn't do a good enough time, or a good enough job, I should say, of planning out my race strategy specific to the course. Now, did I train hills? Yeah, I went up them and I went down, I'm sure, right? I live in a hilly area. But I didn't train specific for this race and for this course. And so I believe that if I would have done that, one, I would have started the electrolytes earlier, i.e. the day before, instead of right before the race. And then two, I actually would have taken more time to deload, which means to rest prior to the race, right? Because my legs were still tired and heavy when the race started. So you have to be willing to look back and look at yourself in the mirror and ask, okay, why did this thing not go the way that I wanted it to? And what can I do about it next time to make it better? So a couple of you commented here. Joshua says, weather or material shortage. 100%, man. Like, weather is what weather is. It wasn't supposed to rain last night. It rained last night. I don't know. What are we going to do about it? Material shortages. We don't control the supply houses. We don't control Home Depot. We don't control any of that stuff. And that stuff happens, right? But what are you doing to make sure that you're ahead of it? Daniel says communication and employees calling out. Yeah, two big ones, right? We'd all love to say that our people are the best people in the world, and yet they call out. I'm no different than you. Literally, I've had people the morning of, hey, I'm not going to be able to make it. I'm sick. Right? It happens. So what are we doing to prepare for it, right? What are we doing to make sure that we're setting ourselves up for success and not failure? Michael says, bottom line, me need to plan better, but I know this fact and try to improve. That's great, man. The first thing you can do, or first thing you need to do, is acknowledge that you're the source of all the problems, but you're also the source of all the solutions, right? So here's my challenge for each of you. Take some time this week and look at your schedule ahead of time. Look at your schedule and say, am I ready for the 3 jobs, the 5 jobs, the 2 jobs that I have this week? And by ready, manpower. Do I have the manpower ready? Which could be subs or could be your employees. Do I have the materials ready? Right? And I don't just mean I got to go pick them up at Home Depot. I either have them in the warehouse or I already have them on the job site, right? Do I have a realistic timeline associated with this project? And if not, again, there's nothing wrong with calling the homeowner, calling the project owner, the project manager, and saying, hey, and originally we anticipated this was going to take this long. Add 25%. I think it's going to take, instead of a week, I think it's going to take, a week and a half It's just going to be realistic with you, right? Let them be angry, let them be frustrated, let them be whatever. But at the end of the day, you communicated, you were clear about it, and you gave yourself ample time to get the project done. So, what is it you need to take away from this? Doesn't matter what happens. It's going to go sideways. Not sometimes, but most of the time. End of the day, the contractors who succeed are the ones who not only understand that things are going to go sideways, but just roll up their sleeves and say, it's got to get done anyway. So let's make sure we get it done. It's 10 o'clock at night. Still got to get done. Become the man or the woman, become the contractor that gets it done, whatever it takes. All right. It is time for our giveaway. Let's see. Looks like we've got a couple of winners. First one, Daniel Ramirez with Ramirez Painting. Doesn't look like he's here. Is he here anymore? No, looks like they left. All right. Stand by. We're gonna draw another name from the hat. Let's see here. All right. Who do we have? Justin's got the wheel in the background. You know, it'd be really cool if we had an actual wheel spinning with people's names on it. We'll figure it out one of these days. Let's see. So we've got two $100 gift cards today that we are going to be, no, just one. Yeah, just one. One $100 gift card. So my bad for that one $100 gift card. Okay, Christina. Christina, are you here? If you are, go ahead and comment so we know you're here. So we make sure you get your gift card, Ravenscroft Construction. Christina with Ravenscroft Construction. If you're here, let us know so we can make sure that you get your gift card. There's always a delay in case you guys were wondering why people don't answer right away. So let's see if Christina answers up. In the meantime, if you guys are interested in learning more about how to manage your business, I'm going to drop a link in the comments here and you can join us. We have an online community that will be launching here shortly. And that online community, we are going to give you the tools, the systems, and the frameworks you need to continue to grow. You'll have access to experts across financing, across QuickBooks, across marketing and sales, operations, your teams. Ultimately, we want to give you the resources you need to build a contracting business that will help you succeed in your line of work. So let me find the link here. We have a pre-launch going on right now. If you sign up in our pre-launch for the VIP, we will give you an opportunity to, here we go. There's the link. We'll give you an opportunity to win some prizes, shirts, hats, gift cards, tools, all kinds of fun stuff. All right. Michael Babbitt, BMF Services. Are you still here with us? Michael Babbitt, BMF Services. Are you still here with us? If you are, go ahead and comment. Michael, I know you were here earlier when we started the live stream. But Michael, we will reach out to you. If you're not here, we'll reach out to you and make sure that you get your hands on a gift card. For the rest of you that have been with us, we appreciate you being here and appreciate you guys sharing your Monday morning. Again, take this information and apply it to your business. Are things going to go sideways? Yes. But ultimately, control as much of that as you can. All right. You know what time it is. It's time to get after it. 3, 2, 1. Off you go.